Hi everyone, how's it going? So a couple people in the Discord have been asking how to start casting for UFO 50 bingo, and I thought I'd just do like a pretty basic tutorial on how to get going on Twitch. Set up your layout, like the basic layout and stuff, and export stuff to YouTube. So first things first, you're gonna need OBS Studio because that's the easiest thing to stream on at this point. And you're also going to need a timer. I like to use Live Split because it's pretty handy for speedrunning stuff anyway, but just any timer program will work. And then finally, you're going to need to click the pins in the bingo sync or the bingo chat of UFO 50 Discord and download this .7z zip file. If you don't have a way to open .7z zip files, you may also need to download WinRAR and basically just extract it all to a folder and you'll get this. It's mostly the layout itself, an example of what it looks like once you have everything put in there. A font that you can install just with that click of the button for like headers and other stuff that you would want the UFO 50 font for. And here's some backgrounds with just like the way the library and stuff looks normally. And basically once you have all of those, you'll go over here into OBS. You'll need to go into settings to add a link basically to this program from your Twitch. If you go to stream, basically it'll ask you to pick a server that you're close to, and then it'll ask you for this thing called a stream key. Click this button and it'll just take you right to Twitch when you're logged in. Copy this button. Don't share this with people because this is pretty important, like privacy stuff. And then while you're here, the main important thing to do is to click store past broadcasts. Once we're done with this stream, you basically won't be relying on the Twitch side of it, but that'll leave it up until you're ready to edit it or export it or whatever. So click copy and then go ahead and go back into OBS, paste it here, or you can just click the connect account and log in. But basically then you will be able to click start streaming and go live. I'm recording a video, so I'm just doing it this way. A way to capture audio and stuff because that's pretty important. Any audio that comes through your desktop is going to be in this top line here for desktop audio, and you can see here that my microphone's moving up and down as I'm speaking here. Click the little gear here, properties, and then you're going to need to just change this microphone to whatever microphone that you have and click OK. If you notice that your microphone's a little quiet, like mine's boosted here and the desktop audio is quieted, you can move the slider to turn stuff down. So like my desktop's typically at -15, and if you need to add decibels above that, you can go to advanced audio properties and type anything in here up to 20 decibel boost. You typically want your audio to be mostly in the yellow here, so kind of just play with it till it works. And I think the easiest way to do this is probably just to start building the layout here. So if you want to basically just add an image and go to the extracted folder that you just made and grab this, click OK, and then you're going to need to resize this so the image itself is the size of the window here. For this specific layout, you can also add a background image that goes behind this. And just drag it under. Resize this down and then also resize the layout down a little bit more. But basically we have the big window right here in the middle. It's a little harder for me to show off now that the display capture's hidden, but basically this big long rectangle in the middle is going to be where we capture the display for both players. This square in the middle is going to be where we capture the bingo board, And then this is typically where you put names, pronouns, bingo sync color, and basically whatever else you want here, depending on what you cast. Some casters put the records of players, some casters put their like favorite level and stuff, so kind of up to you. But there's spots for a lot of stuff in here. The easiest way to add a capture for the board itself, you're going to want to click this, and you're going to want to add a window capture. And I'm going to go ahead, we'll make a new one. It's going to basically ask you for what window you want to capture here, so go ahead and just grab Firefox or whatever window you're trying to capture the board in. And okay, there's a sample board, so I'll just use that one. So basically when you import Firefox, it's going to import the entire window here. If you want to basically crop the window so all this extra crap's not there, click Alt and then the little red box, and it'll allow you to shrink these down. And you can do that for all of these. Drag the window over and also do that for the board. And then do that there. And then shrink it down to there. So this will keep the window that you have right here, and will allow you to like click and unclick and stuff as you need to. If you end up resizing your Firefox, for instance, like if I go to this, it's going to change the window dimensions. So you can kind of see that like it looks like cut off now because I made the window smaller. So just make sure that all of your windows, once they're in the layout, stay the same size. If you have like multiple monitors, you can move them around between the multiple monitors, but otherwise keep them there. If you want to add text to this, you can click this plus, add text. And then basically just do that again. So the most annoying things to capture, I would say, are going to be your live split and also the Discord capture. So for the Discord capture, you're going to need to go into Discord. So you're going to need to join whatever private room that you're in. And as you can see from the match that just happened, basically both players are going to be live for this. I'm going to try to see if I can grab this really quick.
I wasn't kidding about that rematch if you want to do it later.
Okay. I'm just going to thank you guys for contributing to this without maybe realizing. But so click to pop out, and it went to the background over here. It's also still trying to play the other people in this game, so click this to hide the non-video participants. And then for some reason when you do this in Discord, you sometimes have to do like a stop watching, then go back into Discord here, and then click this eyeball right here to add a stream. And now you get both of these captures side by side. Shoutouts to RPM and Uncle Slam for being live for this, because this is making this much easier. So when I'm going to go ahead and add another window capture and a Discord test, and it'll be private matches 4. Do the same thing you did before, where you just crop it down to the size of both players. And an important thing while casting, the players will be in alphabetical order. So in this game, RPM's on the left and Uncle Slam's on the right. But when you're setting up like your layouts and stuff, you can kind of just tell based on alphabetical order who's going to be on what side. And just make sure that you're not like accidentally covering too much of the gameplay or whatever. But here we have the Discord capture. If you move the window around and drag it around, it'll freeze. But as long as you leave it like up and running in the background, it should be fine. And then the final thing that you typically need to add for basic layout stuff is going to be to open livesplit.exe. Okay. And finally, we have the live split timer, where basically it's just going to capture this live split window. You can, in live split, set up your hotkeys to basically just start and stop and reset the timer as needed, and that'll help you keep track of how long it's been since the initial board reveal and how long the players have till the end of the match. Other things with this layout to look out for: the empty spots to the left and right are typically used to be like, this is a tier B1 match from week 3 or whatever. You can kind of fill out this layout however you want to, and then after you start to cast a little bit more, you can even set up your own layout. Like, for instance, here's what my Bingocast thing looks like. It has a couple of spots on here specifically for the players, like goals that they're getting live. It has spots where basically instead of like those boxes, I've just turned the chat into, or I've turned the player info into its own spaces. And then I also have Twitch chat that pops up as the game goes on. All of these are things that you can add on basically as you go. But kind of just wanted to show what it starts to look like after you've built your sample scene and kind of gotten a couple of casts under your belt, and you can kind of make it your own if you want to. Once you're done actually casting the matches and stuff, the most important thing is going to be exporting your stuff to YouTube, because Twitch now has a rule where you can't have more than 100 hours of highlights at a time. So the easiest way to fix that is to go into your settings while you're on the main twitch.tv, go over to connections, and I'll go ahead and disconnect just so y'all can see what it actually looks like, because that's fine. Basically scroll down to YouTube, click connect. I'll black this out so y'all can't see it, but basically these are just the different emails that you want to go for. And I'm going to click for my main email, click OK, and now it's linked. So now when you go into your creator dashboard over here, and you click content, video producer, this will be all of your either like main streams that you've had if it says highlight next to it, or any highlights that you made if it says watch next to it. So, for instance, this match between Boards of Canada and Jonathan has already been made into a highlight. It's good to go. All I need to do at this point is click these, click export, and then it'll say export to YouTube. You can change the title, you can change the description and tags if you want to. The main thing is to make sure that it's public and that it's not split into 15-minute segments. If you're having issues exporting to YouTube on the YouTube side of things, it's possible that you might need to just kind of have that account for a little bit. I forget exactly how long you have to have the account before it lets you upload videos over 15 minutes, but I don't think it's very long. But basically then just click Start Export. When you pop over to YouTube and you look into your YouTube studio, as you go into your content tab, basically it'll show here as uploading, and then eventually it'll upload and you'll be able to watch it. If you're ever at the point where you need to capture your own gameplay, the easiest way to do that is to go ahead and open up UFO 50 on its own. It'll open up the gameplay window, and then you can basically just have this same casting layout but with only your side of the match. So as UFO 50 opens, basically you'll need to, in OBS, as you can see with this display capture, add, you can either do add game capture or window capture. I don't super know the difference, but it's not a big deal either way. You just go down here, click UFO 50, and do the same resizing that you would do for the other layout over here. And then theoretically, if your opponent has also done this recording, you can then use an editing program such as the one that I use called Kden Live to kind of put those videos together. But really this is more just for capturing your side of stuff. And so that's a pretty quick overview of how to kind of get going and set up in like 20 minutes or so. If y'all have any questions, the Discord is very helpful and very willing to help. And yeah, thank you for being interested in casting, because we definitely need the help.